What's up, everybody? We're going to be getting going here in just a moment. Discover Crypto's wrapping up, and we're going to be getting this going here probably under 5 minutes. But I hope you're all feeling well. Hope your charts are feeling good. I got a lot of great stuff. I'm going to go bullish today. We're talking about some things that are setting up in this market, and are we ready? Are we prepared? Hope you're all feeling good. Everybody hit that like button. Let's get this chat flowing today. Let me know. All you guys are the early comers. B&H Baker, what's up? Brokoshi No Dinero. Brandon Buttrey. Alexander G. Brokoshi No Dinero. B Team Crypto. Ruzba Benafti. Something like that. Fade and TradFi, what's up? Crimson Caravan. Everybody, you guys are the early comers. You let me know. Every single one of you, let me know one coin or two coins you'd like to see some TA on. Try to get to all of those towards the end of the show. Hope you're all feeling good. We're good. We got a lot to cover today. So let's get it, baby. Yeah. I see Amon Perry said KDA. B&H Baker says ADA always. What else you guys got? Come on, give me some coins, baby. Alexander G, if you're listening, can you get a list of some of these coins people are posting and send it in the BitLab Discord? And I'll try and make sure and hit all of them. Donato Cabrera, what's up? I want to see each and every one of you drop some emojis in here. Let's get this chat flowing. Let's feel good. Let's do this. We're doing this together. We got a lot of charts we're going to cover today. We got the best community in crypto. Everybody in here is so positive. I hope you're all having a wonderful holiday weekend. Let's get this together. Are you guys ready? Let's get it, everybody. Let's get this chat flowing. How are you feeling? Where are you guys at? Are you traveling? What city, state, and country are you in? What are you buying, selling, or holding today? What are you excited about? What's your resolution for the new year? Let's get this chat flowing. This is all about positive empowerment, and we're about to get into these charts. Let's go. What's up, everybody? Good morning, good afternoon, good night. Welcome to the BitLab Academy daily stream. My name's Kellam. Welcome to the show. If this is your first time, I can guarantee you it's not going to be your last time, because the BitLab Academy YouTube stream on a daily basis, we break down tools, we break down strategies, we break down setups, we break down exactly what we need to do to navigate this market effectively and stop donating our money to the game. So everybody, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, ding the bell. Let's get involved. We got a lot to cover today, so let's go ahead and break it down. First things first, I want to jump right into the BitLab Discord. What's up? If you have not gotten in the BitLab Discord, I don't know what you're doing. We got so many great setups and chart everything. I mean, we got our whole team in here. DZ, Tim, TJ, Drew, John Dalton, always breaking down great trade setups. I mean, look at this setup here and look at exactly where it went to. We got so many things in here in the altcoin spot trades, the gym chat, the gym calls, scalps, chart requests, VIP charts, JJ calls, members chat. We have live member streams in here, so get involved if you haven't yet. We got a lot to cover today, so before we dive into that, make sure you head over to my Twitter page right here, KELLYKELLAM. Again, I only call this out because there's so many fake profiles out there of all of us content creators, so make sure you're following the one and only Kelly Kellam. And then, of course, make sure you're following BitLab Academy here at Academy BitLab. Big love to each and every one of you that are a part of our community. Now, we got to talk about some things. We are entering, let me say this, we are entering the most bullish time in Bitcoin, in the market cycle, but also probably in history. Did we see bigger gains in the past in 2011, 2012, all those early cycles? Sure, but it also wasn't, I don't want to call it a sure thing, but it also wasn't so positioned as it is now. It's on the floor of every government discussion out there regarding finance and money and stepping into the future. And every one of you that's a part of this, every one of you that's already invested, even if you're only investing your time right now, you are so far ahead of the curve of the world. The S-curve of adoption of the billions of people that are about to enter this space, you are ahead of them. And in fact, you're also ahead of the majority of the institutions. And we're about to see a flood of capital come into the space, not only because we have the halving coming up, but it's also amplified by the fact that we have all these Bitcoin spot ETFs that are looking more and more likely like they're going to get approved. And a big group of them are going to get approved en masse together, likely in early January. Even if it doesn't happen in January, likely in March, sometime before the halving. Does this mean it's up and away? It does on the macro, but in the midterm, there's some things we need to watch out for so that we don't get chopped out of this market, so we don't lose the best opportunity in the history of the world. And that's what we talk about here at BitLab Academy. That's what we break down, bitlabacademy.com. So if you want to know more, if you really want to know how to dominate this market, head over to bitlabacademy.com. We'll teach you the stoplight action protocol. We'll teach you exactly how to look at the charts and figure out what the hell's going on so that you can stay ahead of the pack. Now, what does that mean for today? Where are we at? Let's start bullish. We got 151 people in the house right now. Everybody hit that like button. Let's go ahead and dive into this because I'm loving where the crypto market's at. I'm loving having each and every one of you here, and I'm so excited for this opportunity that is presenting itself to us. So let's get this going. Man, I'm feeling good. Let's look at this chart right here. This is just a breakdown. If you're ever feeling lost, about, I don't know which direction the market's going, well, you might be looking at too small of a time frame. If you zoom out, and we talk about this a lot on BitLab Academy, we talk about the different market cycles. We have the macro, the midterm, and the micro. If you're feeling lost, zoom out and you'll see that we have been in a bull market since Bitcoin, since the genesis of Bitcoin in 2010, 2009. Okay? If this was a 4-hour chart or a 1-hour chart, this is bullish impulse, correction, bullish impulse, correction, bullish impulses, correction. We're right in the middle of the start of this next bullish impulse. Are you scared or are you bullish? Let me know in the comments right now. Drop a comment down below if you're watching later. Are you bullish with where we're at? Do you feel like you are prepared? Do you feel like you are ready to take advantage of the best time in the market cycle for Bitcoin, coming into the most bullish parabolic time that happens, which is coming into the halving and then post-halving, especially with all these new capital channels, all these new roads, all these new avenues for capital to flow into the space, as well as the global awareness of Bitcoin. This is so exciting, everybody. So if we look at this chart, what we're looking at is Christmas week 2014, 2017, and where we're at right now, 2022 to 2025. And I just want you to notice Christmas week 2014, this was the end of the bear cycle. Look at this, end of the bear cycle. What happened at the very beginning of 2023? The very end of 2022, what happened? Well, we had the FTX collapse, which was right here. FTX collapse, a little bit of consolidation. Remember, the global liquidity was a huge bearish divergence here as this collapsed, final collapse of this huge down cycle. But we had the global liquidity ticking up during that same period. If you don't know what I'm talking about, let me come over here to Bitcoin strategy platform and we can see this. This is what I'm talking about right here. This is the FTX collapse. This is that consolidation. And look at this huge upward impulse that started essentially right as FTX collapsed, which in some ways probably buoyed the bottom of this market, meaning a lot of buying pressure and positive risk, risk narrative was coming into the market as we had the most bearish capitulation of the very end of this bear market. So we had a huge amount of capital injection into the market, into the global economy, global liquidity ticking up. So as this went flat, at some point, that risk narrative has to kick on. And when that risk narrative kicks on, we saw that we had this huge impulse to the upside. If we come over to Bitcoin and we come out to the 3-day chart and we look at this, let's go ahead and turn off the indicators there. Turn off the indicators. Let's go ahead and also delete the Fibonacci. There we go. Now turn off the volume. And I just want you to see here, if we measure this all the way up to where we're currently at, 161%. We got as high as about 170%. So everybody feels like maybe we haven't done much. Well, we're up 170% in under a year. And this all started, where did this start? This started right here at the very end of this, where we had that huge amount of capital injection into global markets, liquidity going up, which really kickstarted the engine. Fuel was being put in the car because we're about to go on a road trip. And what we do, man, we went on a road trip. And not only that, we went sightseeing. We went to the top of the mountain. And the question is, are we at a stopping point or are we at the top of the mountain? Are we taking a breather before we go higher, or do we need to come down and get some supplies? That's what everybody's trying to figure out. Either way, whether or not the market continues higher exactly from the point we're at now, and we hit that 48,000 mark, or we hit 52,000, somewhere in that golden pocket range, or even above that, regardless of any of these things, even if we pull back all the way to 25,000, all the way even to 20, which I don't think is going to happen, even if that were to happen, we're still on schedule as the market cycle relates to where we're at in relationship to the halving, to have an incredible 2024 and an even more explosive 2025, especially with all these new capital avenues to flow into Bitcoin, not to mention the awareness. So here's bottom, Christmas 2014, mark the bottom, mark the bottom. Okay, here we go. Christmas 2015. So what happened between these two periods? We had basically that migration of narrative, psychological narrative. You have to understand, every time you're looking at a price action chart, when you're looking at any asset, whether it's oil, Bitcoin, corn, Apple, doesn't matter. What you're looking at is a visual representation of the bullish or bearish or neutral narrative of the market participants. So when we come back over to this and we see this, look at this, a lot of bearishness. People aren't certain right here, so it's just chopping around. It's consolidating. You get to the point where you sell all of the weak hands, all the short-term holders, all the people that do not have long-term vision. Usually people with less money, because they don't have that long-term vision. We see a lot of consolidation in this period. This is exactly, instead of having just consolidation, we did have periods where the price moved up, but it also came down. And if you really think about it, and I've talked about this before, this feels like it was just up, up, and away. But if we come back to this and we look for this period right here, actually, if we come all the way from this high right here, all the way across to the point at which we broke out, 246 days, okay? 246 days. If you ignore price and just look at the structure on the chart, we really were just trending sideways through all this. Now, as the market grows and there's more higher market cap and more people participating in this, ranges can be quite large. It doesn't have to be something you're seeing on a 15-minute chart where it's ranging between $100. When you're looking at the macro, you can also range on the macro, and that's essentially exactly what happened here. Huge sideways range between about $7,000. Look at $24,000 up to $31,000. It's about a $7,000 range that we were just trading sideways in. So coming back to here, yes, this range was much smaller here, but we had a huge impulse to the upside, fairly sizable sell-off, huge impulse to the upside, even larger sell-off, flushing out those weak hands, doing everything. The market's doing everything it can to take money from the impatient and transfer it over to the people that are patient. So do you want to donate your money to the game? That's what you have to ask yourself every time you're trading, every time you're especially exiting a position as it relates to where we're at right now in the market cycle. And this is why it's so important. If you are going to trade, which I'm a trader, I'm also a long-term investor, but I make sure I separate my portfolio so that the total percentage of what I'm actively trading and engaging with buys and sells in the market is a much smaller percentage of my portfolio than my long-term hold. That way, when I'm taking profit, I can rotate that capital into my long-term hold portfolio. And if something catastrophic happens, whether I make a series of stupid trades or stupid decisions or lack of strategy decisions in the market, or remember, when your coins are on these exchanges, not your keys, not your crypto. So what if you are making good decisions? What if you're making great trades and then somehow either an exchange locks you out, freezes your account, goes bankrupt, or what? It doesn't matter what the reason is. But all of a sudden, even though you're making good decisions in terms of the strategy you're employing while you're trading, you still end up with losing that whatever percentage of your portfolio you have in there. This is why it's good to not only have cold storage and long-term hold all separated from your trading portfolio, but also if you're going to trade, you'll see almost everybody out there that you see trade, whether it's CryptoFace, Tom Crown, Frankie Candles, myself, name the person. Almost every one of them that I know has multiple different exchange accounts that they are trading on. Their trading is split across multiple exchanges. It also helps decentralize and diversify where your capital is being stored when it is on another institution. Shout out to everybody here. Let's kind of come back for a second. We got 156 people in the room, 43 likes. I want to see everybody in here. Roll call right now. Where are you tuned in from? What city, what state? And are you on holiday break? Are you working? Or is your work right now making sure that you are informed on this crypto market and you're here at BitLab Academy to make sure you can sharpen that sword? That's what this is all about, sharpening the sword together. You learning from the mistakes that I've made and also learning from the things that I've learned that helps me win. That's what this is about. This is a community. So shout out to everybody. Fort Lauderdale, says Jordan Guerrero. Sacramento, Milwaukee, shout out to everybody here. I saw somebody Cypress, Texas as well. Fort Worth. SF Cali, baby. Man, we got people from all over. I love it. Let's go ahead and jump back in here. So Christmas time, this felt like a large uptrend, but there was a lot of sideways in here. But this is where we're at right now, the second Christmas week. Look at where we're at right here. See, there's different ways and different types of strategy you can utilize to do analysis on the market. It's not just looking at candles. It's not just looking at patterns. It's not just looking over here at global liquidity or the halving progress. You can use different metrics and different milestones throughout the calendar year to give you some reference points as to where we are in the cycle, and also how price action relates to different parts of the traditional calendar we're in, seasonality, but also what's happening with the halving. So it's important to utilize these different tools so that you can be informed and get a broad range of data points that you're utilizing to make your decisions. So second Christmas, right here, we see this. We had this year of consolidation, up, down, chop, 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 push up, a little bit of sell-off, consolidation. Okay, where we're at right now, right here. So what's going to happen? Are we going to consolidate from here? Because we did get this push up. See this push up right here? Very similar. Are we going to get a little bit small pullback, 10, 15%, 20%? Or is it just going to consolidate sideways? Or are we going to push higher? And then what do we see? The third. Look at this. Third, we're well underway in this parabola really starting to kick into gear. And then, of course, the fourth is roughly about where the top was in this previous cycle, 2015 into 2018 time period. So will we see something similar? Well, I think you will all remember, if you've gone to my page, right here, this is January last year. This is before we had the push-up, sell-off, push-up, sell-off. But I was essentially outlining this move up towards this pre-halving pump, this move up towards the golden pocket, which is the measurement from the top here to the bottom on Fibonacci, and that 0.618, 0.65 region, 61.8% is what that means. Move up here, find a little bit of a sell-off. And the question here, because things are getting loaded so bullishly right now with the speculative excitement about these spot ETFs right around the corner and a high likelihood that they're going to hit. Now, if they do get approved, does that mean up and away, or does that mean some sell-off? I've talked about this quite a bit here on this channel. When the ETFs do get approved, it doesn't mean there's going to just be a huge, let me say this again. When the ETFs do get approved, it does not mean that there's just going to be a huge amount of capital immediately injected in the space. Yes, there will be capital that does flow into the space, but there's going to be some periods of time that certain institutions or certain money managers or different small family offices that are basically financial planners, sometimes they need to wait per protocol of their individual institution to wait for an ETF to have some sort of maturity, whether it be 6 months, a year, 3 years. Whereas also, we'll also see retail that does have the ability to put money in, but does that mean everybody's going to immediately start flooding money into the market? I think there's going to be a huge amount of money initially that does come in, but I think the pump that comes from Bitcoin when the ETF gets approved is going to be more of a speculative nature. And then because things don't immediately run, the numbers that we see in terms of capital flow from outside coming into Bitcoin, new money, I think may have a little bit more of a delay than people think, because there's going to be marketing. There's going to be a lot of different processes and getting the word out and getting those things in order so the capital can flood in. Now, this is ultimately very bullish, and it will offer an opportunity for you to take advantage of it if you're aware of this. But don't expect just because ETFs come in, it's just going to go straight to 150. Could it happen? Yes. Does it mean it's going to happen? I think it's more likely to be a huge rumor that we could buy, a little bit of sell-off that's going to provide you an opportunity if you're ready, and then you can take advantage of it. So let's see how this plays out. Now, coming back over to where we're at right now, what type of sell-off will we get? Well, let's get back to what we're talking about with bullishness going into this year. All right, we've talked about this chart, but now let's come over here. Let's go ahead and repost this. Boom. Now we're going to come right over here and look at this. So where are we at right now? This is a Chaikin money flow. Money flow is the fuel, just like we saw the global liquidity in the market after the FTX collapse. Huge amount of money injection in broader markets, the whole global economy. Okay. Then we saw a short period of time after that, then the markets went up. Well, what we're seeing this is specifically looking at the liquidity coming into Bitcoin, the Chaikin money flow. And what we're looking at here is these accumulation phases, bull runs, accumulation phases, bull run, accumulation phase. What's the next step? Bull run, baby. Let me see those bull emojis. Let me see those bullish anything in the chat. Let's get hype about this because this is exciting. I don't care what Bitcoin does in the next 3 months. I don't care if it goes up, if it goes sideways or goes down. All of this provides opportunity based on what is coming, based historically on where market goes post-halving. Now, what we've seen on each of these, look at this, in these accumulation phases, we have this narrative of bearishness. If we look at this chart, the bearishness, money coming out, people being scared. And then what we see is we start seeing the smart money, smart people. If we come back over to this chart, what is this down here? Smart money accumulation. What's this right here? Smart money accumulation. If we look at this on this chart, we can see right on these bottoms, that's when we're starting to see money start coming back towards the zero line, and less money's coming out and there's some money starting to come in until ultimately we have this flip phase right here where the money flow switches the narrative from being ultimately bearish to starting to be very bullish because the broader community around Bitcoin and new people coming in, as well as people that were on the sidelines because they weren't sure, starts to really inject capital into the space. What does that mean? Buying Bitcoin. That's what it means. And so what do we see? That's when we see this real parabola really start to take off. Similar thing happened here in 2018 into 2019. This is where we had the ultimate sell-off that went from 3,200 up to almost 14,000. And during this period of time, this is when the money flow started flipping. So even though we were getting a little bit of a sell-off here, even though this is why data is your friend, even though we were getting a little bit of sell-off here, we're seeing a trend of the money flow coming out and coming back in ultimately till we got this flip. This flip happened just after we had the global economic shutdown right here, which is at March 2020, the global pandemic, all this sort of stuff. But ultimately, we were still seeing money coming into the market. The rotation of narrative. And it takes retail and non-long time frame investing sort of people. It takes them some time to flip. Oh yeah, maybe I should start buying. And it typically is when we see something like this. People are scared here, but somehow they get excited here. Now, if you have some, how they say in New York, yeah, if you have some chutzpah, if you have some balls, this is where you buy. But then if you have the courage to still hold right here, this is still a great time to buy. We saw Michael Saylor just bought another, I don't even remember what the number was, 16,000 or 18,000 Bitcoin. Doesn't matter where the price is. He's on a schedule where he's buying because he's looking at the long term. This is a great opportunity to buy. If you're not going to capitulate, if this pulls back a little bit, which we have seen historically. This is the halving here. Look at this, pre-halving push up, 53% dump. This did not even account for the global economic shutdown here, which really took this all the way down to 73% sell-off from this pre-halving pump. Okay, but this did rocket right back up into the halving, consolidate, and then ultimately we got our move. Similarly, we see this back here in 2016, I should say. This is that accumulation phase we're talking about. This move from 211 up to 299, back down to 223, back up to 304, down all the way to the bottom of this wick, 197, and then ultimately push up, consolidation, push up into the halving, a little bit of sell-off, 42% sell-off into the halving, and then this is where that true parabola started. Remember, parabola just means increasing by magnitude upward price action, especially on Bitcoin when we have that halving. This is what everybody's waiting on. So what we're seeing here is this same narrative happening again. These things feels like they happen on schedule. And when you look at the data, when you look at the information on the chart and stop saying, oh, price is high, man, I don't know if I could buy at $44,000 or $42,000 or even when it's at 60. Look at the opportunity in the chart based on where it is in the market cycle. If it feels high because it's just been going up, maybe it is in that midterm. But wait for a little bit, wait for the sell-off. Because remember, all assets do what's called rise, retrace, continuation. And they do this over and over again until there's the price is overpriced. And then we get a distribution top, and then the price breaks down to a lower low from these lows here at this top range. We get a lower high. This is our signal. And then we get that fall, retrace, continuation. Market cycles. Understanding how market cycles work allows you to not be so worried about what's happening in the price action. So what we're seeing right here is a signal. The best voting mechanism in any asset class is seeing what the money flow is. Money flow and volume. This is what we want to look for. And we're seeing this flip happen right here. Now, notice what happened here. Flip up, a little bit of pullback. Right here, we just went up and away. But we had a lot of chop here that really did a lot of the work to clear that bearish narrative because we had a huge sell-off. Global economic shutdown, huge sell-off. And the fact that this recovered so quickly and we still have money flow trending to the upside gave a lot of confidence, especially coming into the halving where there was also money printing going nonstop. That means money coming into the market, free money to inject and the risk narrative being on. And we see this have a huge bull run here, which was cut a little short from the Chinese mining ban ultimately. And then we had the bear market. So this is where we're entering right here. Are you not bullish? Again, who cares if the price dips 5%, 10%, 20, 30, even 40% from here? That is an opportunity for us to take advantage of because we're aware of where we're at in the market. Now, coming on to this next one, let's go ahead and share this bad boy too. Boom. Now, coming over here, let's go to this next chart. Okay. Another way to look at it. See, there's different types of data you can utilize to figure out what you want to do. What's the right move? What is the right move? When you're looking at charts of any asset, whether it's Bitcoin, altcoins, oil, corn, Apple, doesn't matter. You want to figure out, is it a green light? Is it a yellow light? Is it a red light? And you do that based on what is your strategy. And in order to determine what your strategy is or should be, you need to identify what the trend is on the macro. Is your strategy going to be a longer term play? Is it going to be shorter term play? Or is it going to be a very quick in and out scalp? Because remember, there's 3 different market cycles at minimum that you need to be looking at any given time. The macro, the midterm, and the micro. So for instance, the monthly, the daily, 12-hour, 8-hour, and then the 4-hour and below. So understanding the trend that you are in on the dominant trend, the macro, can then give you an indication of what type of strategy you should use and what the time frame you should be looking for if you're trying to trade it. For instance, if you're trying to take a trade and you're looking at the macro and we're starting this uptrend, we're in this uptrend, okay? We also saw on this chart right here, the uptrend. In this case, we're predicting a rise, sell-off, uptrend. Based on where we're at, on the strategy you're trying to employ, understanding the macro trend, then you can look to your midterm time frame, a little bit smaller time frame, to identify what play you want to take and what sort of time frame that would be in, giving you that green light, that red light, or that yellow light. Yellow light could also be a setup. So using the stoplight action protocol, looking to the trend, understanding what sort of chart formation may be there. Is the price coming into any sort of macro, midterm, or micro support or resistance? And then what is the underlying data that gives you the signal to pull the trigger to enact the plan that you have? And your plan should always include risk management and the time frame and 2 different directions that the price could go. So looking at this, this has flipped. Not only is a trend up, but the MACD has flipped bullish. And look at this expansion, meaning these 2 moving averages are getting wider apart. This is a moving average convergence divergence. That's what the MACD stands for. So when you see this expanding, that means that the trend is expanding to the upside. And look at where this is in relationship in the previous market cycles to where we're at right now. All 3 of these had a point that this came up to, created a trend line from this point to this point. We pulled back and then broke through it. Came up to, created a trend line. This trend line wasn't there until we gave this point. Dropped down below it, came back up, fought it a little bit, and then launched off from there. We've already done this. We've already broken free of this. Does this mean this has to happen? No, it doesn't mean that. It means based on the history of the market cycles on Bitcoin, we're in order to have what we want. Give me what I want, baby. That's those green candles. But if you want the green candles, you got to know how to play the red ones. Now, looking right here, stock money lizards. What we see here is these peaks and not peaks. Remember, market cycle peak, post-halving, market cycle peak, the halving was roughly right here. Market cycle peak, post-halving, halving was right here. But we have these pre-halving pumps. And so we need to watch. We need to be careful. Remember, if we want the green candles to serve us well, we need to know how to play the red candles. And we're seeing that this is getting up into this level. This is getting up into this level that it has previously in each one of these pre-halving peaks. So as bullish as we are, we still need to look at charts like this and ask ourselves, what is the strategy right now? Yes, let's be excited. Let's be excited, but let's also be aware that as excited as we are, there could be opportunity that is presenting for people that are ready. And it's going to be opportunity for them that's going to steal from you if you're not ready. So let's move on to the next chart. This is one of those things I'm talking about right here. The importance of the historical resistance of the Puel multiple. This is miners' profitability. Remember, miners still play, I mean, they will play probably for the rest of our lifetime, have a huge impact on understanding what's happening, the health of the market, the health of Bitcoin, I should say. And what we can see is we are witnessing the Puel multiple reaching values that were significant resistance in previous years, notably 2012 and 2016. These are both just before the halving. See this? Same level, same level. This is where we had a push up, a little bit of sell-off consolidation, another push up. This was that sell-off into the halving. Similar right here. This $3,000 to $14,000 level ended up being resistance. We're right in the same territory right now. The one caveat I will say about this, though, is that there's a little bit of dynamic change right now going on with everything with the miners. What do I mean? Well, we have different things that are putting different profitable changes of profitability of miners right now with all the inscriptions and all the like ordinals and all these different things that are operating on top of Bitcoin right now that are driving up transaction fees and making miners more profitable than they would have been in periods where, which in all aspects actually makes the Bitcoin network stronger because it means more miners can stay online in face of any volatility because they're making money on fees, even in periods of times are making more money than they would have in that same period of time because there's more things happening on top of Bitcoin. Some people want to argue that it's slowing down the network. In reality, what it's doing is it's actually made the Bitcoin network stronger because it incentivizes miners to stay online. The more miners that are online, the higher the hash rate. The higher the hash rate and the difficulty, the more secure the network is. The more secure the network is, the more underlying intrinsic value that network has, despite even the Bitcoin price, just the strength of that network. And remember, as we see billions pour into Bitcoin, we want this thing as secure as possible. So load up those fees, load up those ordinals, load up. We'll come up with new solutions to scale and make things faster. That's how technology works. So let's just be a little, I don't want to say cautionarily patient right now. With any dip, remember, it is an opportunity. Now, Tom Crown posted this yesterday. This is just a great reminder here. We are at points right now where the funding, meaning the cost that it takes to trade derivatives, okay? If more people are going long, if the majority are going long on margin or on leverage on derivatives, it costs more to go long. And so what we can see is we can look at the leverage, so we can look at the funding rate here on open interest. When this is very high, it means that a lot of people are going long. Now, the problem with this is, this does suggest that this could be a little bit overheated. I mean, this is not to say that it's going to happen just like this, where we have this huge bear market, but remember where we're at in relationship to what we just saw with the Puel multiple, what we just saw on the pre-halving pump sort of suggested ideas about what could happen, these pullbacks. Well, there's other metrics out here that are suggesting this could be the case as well. Now, let's talk about altcoins. How many of you out there are altcoin holders? How many of you out there have more altcoins than you have Bitcoin? If you have no Bitcoin, throw a 1 in chat if you have no Bitcoin, but you have all altcoins. If you have a balanced portfolio, pretty even between Bitcoin, Ethereum, and then other altcoins, put a 2. If you have Bitcoin and altcoins, but disproportionately you have more altcoins overall than Bitcoin, put a 3. Let me know. But looking at this, last time Bitcoin dominance, and this, why does this matter when we're talking about altcoins? Because this is talking about how much market share Bitcoin has comparatively with the rest of the crypto market. And so what we're seeing here is a metric that could indicate something for price action on altcoins. So this is BTC.D. So if you go to your chart like this and you just click on it and type BTC.D, that'll pull up your Bitcoin dominance chart. And so we can see here the dominance of the entire market cap, of the entire crypto market cap, of all the, what's going on here, of all the different crypto that's out there. And you see we had the sideways range, kind of looks like what Chainlink looked like, right? But the Bitcoin dominance was oscillating here all the way from May 2021 all the way until this broke out in June of 2023, this year. Large push up. Bitcoin was initially kind of outrunning the altcoin market. But then look at this. What have we recently seen? What have we recently seen? We've seen a lot of altcoins make some really explosive gains. And look at this. The dominance has also fallen. Question is going to be, is this going to continue down? Because if we look at this chart right here, what's interesting about this is we have this, not only this 50 moving average, this exponential moving average, 50 on the 1 month. Every time we've bumped this, we've kind of broken down. Bump back up, broke down. These were little alt seasons. Bump back up. Are we about to enter another alt season? That's a good question. This is why it pays to diversify your portfolio. Now, moving on to this next chart right here. TOTAL3. This is all the altcoins, much like we were just looking at BTC.D. In this case, we're looking specifically at every altcoin out there that's included in this index. It's not going to be 100, every one of the 27 or 30,000 crypto, but the majority of the altcoin market, everything excluding Bitcoin and Ethereum. What's interesting here is, yeah, we just said that there may be an altcoin season coming, but does that mean it's happening today, tomorrow, next month? What we can also see here, we got to pay attention to this. This is the TOTAL3 on the daily. Look at this price action moving to the upside. Look at the RSI, the relative strength index. One of those signals we got to pay attention to. The strength got very high here. And then as the price continued pushing up, it pulled back and then pushed up. This formed a higher high where the strength is weaker. Imagine a car trying to move up the hill. You got a lot of gas at the bottom of the hill and you're just gunning the engine and you're burning out and the engine's getting a little overheated and all of a sudden now you have less gas, but you still see everybody's saying, no, we're going higher. And you're looking at the gauge. You're like, man, this gas gauge getting a little close to empty because you have less strength. Less strength as price shows that it should be stronger because it pushed up. This is indicating a little pullback may be coming. Does it mean it's happening immediately? No, but this is suggesting that there's some weakness that's coming in and a pause might be due in terms of all this huge altcoin growth that we've seen lately. Everybody out there watching right now, let me know, let everybody know, what's the best pick that you've had since the market cycle lows? What's given you the most gains so far this year? And I'm not talking about leverage. I'm talking about something that you bought. You ended up getting a great purchase price on, and it has just exploded. I know there's been a lot of coins that have performed incredibly. Caspa, Arbitrum, Solana, AVAX, Chainlink, and we go down the list. I know Bonk. I'm not a huge fan of the meme coins, but I like to dabble with very small percentages in some of those. But yeah, we can really see TIA also did really well. We're going to be looking at some TA here in a moment. We're going to look at some TA at some different coins. So stick with me here. And if you haven't yet, find gratitude in your heart for something in your life you haven't thought about lately. Call a friend that you haven't talked to. Check in with a family member. Show love for the people in your life. Show love for yourself. You are worth it. You are enough. And you will do better. Know that. And we're here for you here at BitLab Academy. So everybody right now, hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. Ding the bell. Let's dive back in. We got to talk about some things. All right. Altcoins. Here's another look. Amazing rally mode. We're approaching a resistance level. What was that happening? What did we just look at? A potential bearish divergence. And on this one, it shows that we're approaching a resistance level, the 2.618 fib extension. ETF news are likely to lead to a short spike and sell the news before the rally continues. Well, let's talk about that. If this were to happen, what does this mean? If this were to break down, we have a clear level right here. You look at the previous range high. When you're coming down, where would that be? That'd be right here. But we also have these lows here, and they're kind of in line with this. So is that going to be an area that we could target for potential pullback, or Will it be a very bullish pullback, meaning it's very short-lived and then just a little bit of cool off and provides another opportunity? Point being here is we saw bearish divergence on the last chart, and this one shows that we're coming up into a 2.618. Not only is it a 2.618, but we can also see, look, previous low, previous high. So even without doing fib, you could have seen that we're coming into a level that is going to be an area of interest for potential cool-off period for the altcoin market. Multiple different types of strategies give you these signals. Now, here's another one here, TOTAL3. We come up into this area, a lot of rejection, and we finally push out, find support, launch. Same thing here. Rejection, rejection, breakout, find support, launch. But what's the difference here? We're seeing a large expansion, a little bit smaller expansion. The question here, is the juice gone? We very well could push higher from here, but we're going to want to watch for support at the same level if and when this breaks. If not, then we can watch for another retest down somewhere in this region, or maybe even down to this level. MATIC's been performing well. Shout out to everybody if you've been holding MATIC. MATIC just broke that dollar threshold. Broke that dollar threshold, and man, it feels good for MATIC, doesn't it? Holy moly, it feels good. We're gonna have to look at MATIC here in a second. I just wanted to. Stock Money Lizards posted this chart, and it was just felt so good to see. Look at this breakout. A little bit of a retest, launch. So where we're at right now, remember, just because we have a candle or two that has pushed through this, it does not mean it's confirmed to just continue higher. We just saw that there's a little bit of bearishness, of bearish signal potentialities. We want to watch for this potential be a fake out and maybe come down and retest these lows here. And if it can't hold that, potentially coming back down to touch this trend line that is formed from this point to this point here, which would be somewhere down here. And we'll do that TA here in a moment. Ethereum looking very bullish. Flat level of resistance, rising level of support. These tend to break bullish, and this has, and it's come back and it's bounced on this a couple times. We're going to want to watch what happens here. But regardless of any downside action, I'm a net buyer right now for anything that does drop. I want to get through all these, and I want to get to the charts. I want to break some stuff down for you guys before we go. Realized profits is another thing that gives me a little bit of warning. Come here, let's go to the 14 days just to clear that up a little bit. A lot of people in profit here. Realized profit loss ratio. Most people, there's some profit taking coming into these zones. Now we also can see on this chart right here, exchange net position change, there's a little bit of choppiness back here. If we zoom in on this we can zoom out like this. We can see this as this turned green. We had a little bit of slowing down of the bullish narrative here. Some people taking some profits, but then it flips back with people going off of exchange. Price moves up, but we're seeing a little bit of small amount of coins moving on to exchange. And this makes sense where we're at, because there's some people that are worried we're going to get that pre-halving correction. And there's a lot of bullish narrative out there that's still supporting higher prices. So there's a battle between the bulls and the bears. And we're seeing this chop back and forth, even with the response of people moving coins onto and off of exchange. So let's just keep an eye on that. And I think it's time. To do some TA. And I saw quite a bit of those coins that you guys shared. I'm going to try and go through a bit. Quant, I love Quant. I don't love it. I think it's a great project. And I think that got great tokenomics. It had a great run recently. It was about 40-something percent, 46% or something like that. So I'm okay with a little bit of a cool off. I'm not worried if something pumps and then it pulls back, especially with where we're at in the market. I'm honestly FOMOing a bit, made some good profit sales. Now waiting on a bag of dry powder. Remember, guys, we always got to be mining that fiat so we can get it in this market so that we can take advantage of what's happening in this market. All right, let's go ahead and jump in here. Let's jump in here, baby, and let's do some TA before we go. All right, let's get back over to Bitcoin 3-day chart. Look at this. This looks like a giant bull flag currently. We've all seen this. I'm sure you've got, it's there. It doesn't mean it has to happen. It very well could have a fake out to the downside and just shock everybody. Now, this also, rather than just being a bull flag, because this is very curved, we can measure this just like this. Boom, go like this. This takes us all the way up to $58,000. I don't think this is necessarily in the cards. So sometimes you do TA and then you redraw and you get a little bit more and more. You get several different areas that you can watch. See, this takes us up to $56,000. In reality, this very well could just be a symmetrical triangle, in which case we can measure this right here. Boom. That takes us up, look at that, right into the $49,000, $50,000 range, which we all know is a golden pocket. So all in all, this also very well could chop back down and form a bit of a Bart Simpson top for a quick move back to the downside to flush people out. So what do I think it's going to do? We're looking at the 3-day. Looking at the 3-day, we got some bearish divergence that came in here. What do I mean by this? We can see these 2 points right here. There's also this one drew the line out for you. High momentum wave, a little bit lower high. We can also see this with stochastics, also lower right there. And we see that this is kind of struggling a little bit. So we got to pay attention to what's going to happen here. Let's get down to the 6 hour and see what's going on. All right. So we got a bit clearer. Let's kind of draw this like this. All right. These are the levels. Why does this not have, is this, yeah. Here. Where is the chart that I wanted to show you? There we go. So these are those levels that we're watching. 44.5, 41, this is a little bit up now, 41.5. If we lose this, I'm still waiting for this opportunity down here at 39.5. We've talked about this a lot. We also see that this momentum wave, very high, much lower here. And we're seeing the stochastic tops trend down. You see this? And even in this case right here, this trended way down if this does fully roll over. I'm looking at the orange line here. And we got to keep our eyes on this money flow. It's still positive, but it's getting gray right here where it's not blue any longer, meaning that there's not really, there's not really any movement. And look at this, it's getting a little bit bearish. We got the VWAP has a bullish signal, but then bearish, neutral, bearish, bearish, bearish. And look at this momentum moving to the downside. So let's keep our eye on this. This very well could just chop inside this range. Now let's go ahead and look at Ethereum. Ethereum making a little bit of a move here, and look at this beautiful move. So we're talking about like the stoplight action protocol to figure out what you want to do. Do you take a trade? We have a clearly identified range. If we zoom back out, remember, what trend are we in? Look at the first thing, trend. We're in an uptrend. The lows, we have higher lows along the way, higher highs along the way. So on every trend, we have a rise, retrace, continuation, or a distribution, which is chop, or a breakdown, retrace, continuation. In this case, we're in a bullish trend. So this is moving to the upside. Okay. Now on this, what we want to do is we want to find those opportunities where we do get that rise, retrace, which is this breakdown here, and then the continuation. So we understand the trend. We see the setup with the retrace here, which is giving us an opportunity for what? This rise, retrace, continuation gives us an opportunity to take a trade here to catch this breakout to the upside. So does this mean as soon as it breaks down like this, we try to buy down here? No, not necessarily, because this very well could be a distribution and then continue breaking down. So we look at this. Rise, we're getting the retrace, and we have two different levels of resistance and support, a range that this is traveling with inside. So as this is traveling, the price action is traveling between these two zones and creates the zones in reality. On the retest up here of this area, we've already formed this resistance level. On the retest of this, does this mean we just take a trade because we're starting to break it? No, it does not. It means we're getting a little bit of like a yellow light here. We're getting a caution here. Could be two things. A caution could be this could break back down. It could also be a setup for a breakout. So do we just jump in? Jumping in without patience is what makes you donate your money to the game. So what we want to do is allow the price structures, understanding that we have this uptrend, understand that we have this range that the price is traveling between, on a retrace setup for a continuation, okay? All these things set up, this yellow light in your mind where you're like, okay, caution, like think about being at a drag strip. The light doesn't just turn green. It goes red, yellow, and then green, right? So we're kind of in a cautionary point right here. waiting for the price structure and the candles to tell us the story that something's about to happen. And then we can utilize our signals, our data points to support the narrative of the move we're trying to take advantage of. So what we see here is the price action broke out. Great. Oh my God, we missed the move. No, you didn't. You're being patient because you're a profitable trader and you're using this system. So this moved. Yes, this did move out. But on this retrace, retesting this level right here, this previous resistance, we want to flip this previous resistance to support. We want the bulls to make an impulse. We want people to get scared, have them taken advantage of, not you. Let the price come back and bulls defend this move. And then on this move to the upside, that's telling you that's your action to move. That's your action to look at your other signals. In this case, when we see this happen, when this comes back down, we're on the 12-hour. Okay, we're on the 12-hour right here. Let's put option V there. That gives us a vertical line. We see the price action come back to test this zone. We see the stochastics down here. If we make this large, the stochastics, this orange line comes down and bottoms and starts to move up. Look at this. The RSI is moving up very quick. Strength. The strength is moving up very quickly on this move. So let's get down. Let's get some better resolution. We're looking at the 12-hour. Let's get more candles to color what's actually happening. Let's get down to the 2-hour. Okay. Now down at the 2-hour, what do we see? We see the breakout. We see the breakout from this resistance level. Let's go ahead and clear up some of these lines. We see the breakout from this resistance level and a move down to this zone. And when this comes down, what do we see? We see the stochastics have been moving up and the RSI is moving up as this comes down to a known level. So what we do in this zone is we say, okay, we already have the zone mapped out because we've seen the resistance level that we are testing. And so we set a little buy-sell profit ratio here. And you set a stop loss slightly under where this previous resistance level was. And in this case, I'm setting this roughly about where the bottom of this range was right here. That gives me a clear idea of what we're looking for. If this does kind of flush people out, much like this small wick did. You see how this came down? Oh no, it's a failed. No, it's not. This is flushing people out. You got an entry somewhere in this zone. But the stop loss is down here where this previous low was, and then you can take advantage of this move. So utilizing understanding the trend, understanding the levels both above and below, looking at the candle structure, and then understanding what's going on with the strength, the stochastics, the momentum. In this case, we see, look, negative money flow has this move down into purple, and then right here, this flip back positive right here, right when we bounced on this level. So we're getting a green light go because the signals, the structure, the candles, and the situation all work together to tell you this is a good opportunity. And not every opportunity is going to be a winning opportunity. Some opportunities are going to present and they're going to fail, which is why you have a stop loss set here so you can take advantage in a safe way because you're using risk management, but you're stacking the probabilities in your favor. That's what we got to do. That's what using the stoplight action protocol is. I'm feeling bullish. So this is pushing up. Now look at where it went to. I didn't set this up. This is just a trend line. Look at this, came right up into the zone. I mean, almost to the dollar, and is having a little bit of a weakness, a little bit of a cool off period right now. So what does this look like on the 15-minute? Yeah, so we had a bearish divergence from this point to this point. See this momentum wave? And we have these two triangles and a little line. See that little line? And we can see right here, price action is moving up, but the momentum waves have moved down. We still have positive money flow. So we're going to want to watch what happens in here. Maybe a little bit of a bull flag forms and then a continuation to the upside. You have to let the chart action play out and give you some signals. Now, if this does turn into a bull flag, then let's be a little conservative here. We don't need to take the whole flagpole and kind of go like this. This would take us up to about 2460, 2,460. But this is a little bit preliminary because this is not giving us any structure yet. This is the push up. It's a little bit of retrace. Let's see what happens in this region. Hopefully this doesn't form a head and shoulders right here. Shoulder, head, a little bit of shoulder. Let's see what happens. But Ethereum's starting to wake up a little bit. Okay, let's look at Cardano. Let's actually go out of that. Let's go over here. Let's look at NEAR since I have it up. So NEAR, let's get to the 4 hour. Man, that's, whew. Remember yesterday, we talked about this yesterday. We talked about price action pushing to the upside, but this is starting to roll. Remember we talked about that? This is starting to roll, and let's see when yesterday was. Today's Wednesday, Tuesday. This is where we were talking about it yesterday. This is during today's show. And this is the same time frame. We're talking about the price action potentially setting up to move lower. And what happened here? Oops. What happened here? We had the price action lose the trend signal line, lose the weekly VWAP, come back up, test this, and now it's trying to move down. This is telling me right now it's still sitting on top of this previous high, but if we do lose this, then likely coming down to, you know, work our way down to give us a better opportunity for the bull run. Now, if this holds here and starts pushing up, we still have to contend with the trend signal line as this moves back up, if that were to happen. The main question that I have for you right now, if you're watching and you look below this video, does it say subscribed right under the video? If not, what are you doing? Join us here. We got a wonderful family. Get us up over 10,000 subscribers by the end of the year. Under a year. In under a year, we've almost hit 10,000 subscribers because we have such a wonderful community, and I hope all of you can join it and be a part of us here. And remember, excuse me. Remember, if you haven't yet, if you want to learn how to read candles and patterns and be a part of our community on a deeper level, head over to bitlabacademy.com. Enroll now, right up here. Click enroll, join us, and get involved also as a BitLab Academy member from the BitLab Academy website and the courses, all the different courses we have. I mean, we break all this down step by step, all the way from beginner stuff all the way through a full on-chain analysis course. And all the lessons are between 7 to 12 minutes, individual lessons for individual stuff. But then you also get access to the BitLab members area in the Discord where we go through, we have never-ending, nonstop, wonderful stuff in here. And we have so much more stuff coming to the BitLab Discord as well with Joshua, Jake, and myself, and Rodney, and TA Tim, and TJ, and DZ, and Drew, all doing stuff in here and private classes and all stuff for people that are in that BitLab Discord. Now, I love it when I talk about things that we're doing and I see people dropping off like they don't realize, hey, we got a lot to offer and we also got to pay rent, motherfucker. So let's get it. It's just the nature of the beast. If we want to be able to continue doing this, spending all our time here with you, we gotta build community so we can do this together and make money together and dominate this market. And our way of doing that is creating a community of people with pro traders, newcomers, on-chain people, degen, meme coin, people that can identify those kind of, all the tools you need to dominate this space. 10 more likes, please, says Alexander G. Hit that like button. Join us here. And NEAR protocol, this is looking like it's making an attempt. This already broke down from this rounding trend here. Already retested. Now we want to watch for a breakdown from this. The 382 is right here, perfectly in line with where this top is and this low is. So this would be my next target, 363. And we could talk about lower if the trend is that direction when we visit this tomorrow. By the way, I don't know if Army Piper's in here. I think we're going to be having him on the show on Friday. So be here for Friday's show as well. We're going to be breaking down some stuff with Army Piper. Let's look at KDA. I forget who, but somebody posted KDA like 6 times earlier. Let me go KDA. Binance, here we go. All right, look at that. Man, we're on the, let's go 6 hour. Man, look at that move. Golly. That is a move. Man, that is a move that was 5 days, 144%. And it's got a little bit of a retrace right now. So look at this. Are you mad at this? That now you have an opportunity to get 30% more? This drawback is giving opportunity. And look at where it came to. BitLab trading stack, right to the trend signal line, right in this dynamic support zone. The question is going to be, can it hold? Question is going to be, can it hold here and push to the upside, we want to see. We're getting a little bit of a rounding here. We got a little bit of a, you know, this large wick here. This almost is looking like a hammer candle though. So we're going to have to see what the structure is as this continues on the, come on the 2-hour chart. Look at this, lost the trend signal line. And look at this, we're getting a little bit of a rejection. We're chopping right here at the 20 moving average on the 2-hour chart, but we have an order block right here. If we lose this level, this $1.16 level, then I do think that we're in for a larger move to the downside. Option F, Alt F if you're on PC. Golden pocket right here, I'll be watching. That's $1. That's right, $1.07. If we lose that, likely, remember, smaller market cap, this could come down to the 786, where we do have a little bit of chop zone right in here, which is kind of in the same region as that. So right around the dollar mark, I think is going to be an excellent opportunity to load up on some KDA. What's CASPA looking like right now? KAS. How many of you guys hold CASPA? How many of you guys got involved with this CASPA run? It was one of those sleepers that only some people were really paying attention to. Now everybody's eyes are on it. Why is that? Why are people's eyes on it? Well, let's look at it. 3-day chart. Man, look at this. This was October 2022. I don't know if you can see that correctly. You see that right there? 8,893%. That's a move right there, baby. That is an 88x. Woo! But what is it? What is it most recently? Let's look at the daily. Double click. Okay. October, bottom here from this range here, even up to here is still, I mean, look at that. 258% move. And what are we getting right now? Rise, retrace, continuation, 30% dip right there so far. Will it go a little lower? I think it may get another move. If the market has a little bit of a corrective wave, it may give us a deeper opportunity, maybe down here into this order block zone down here at 7.5 cents. This would represent another 30% move to the downside if that were to happen. Do I think it's going to happen? Maybe. I don't have to guarantee it's going to happen. I just have to see that there's a possibility, and I can set some of my dry powder with some limit buy orders in this zone for the price action. If it does have a quick move, I can take advantage of it. That's what I'm talking about. We're going into a part of the market very soon where almost anything that you have been buying is going to be just explosive growth. So I'm taking advantage of any time the price action moves down on anything. Now, in this case, we're looking at the daily. We lost the trend signal line. We got a basically death cross here with the 20 moving average and on the 50 moving average here. And this is coming down. It's getting rejected each step of the way. And we got some bullish divergences here, though. We got 5 bullish divergences right there. But it looks like I'm just going to watch what happens in this zone right here. I do think there's still going to be a possibility. Look at this. We bounced at this previous high. This is where we're holding support right here. See this? So let's see what happens here. If we do lose this level, option F from this to that. Look at this. Came right from this move to the top. Look at where we're trading right now. Do you guys see this? Golden pocket. This is area, but we're kind of losing it. And this is looking like it wants to come down to the 786, which is going to be right around that just under 10 cent mark. So let's see what happens if this can hold here. And if not, we may be moving a little lower. GRT, how's GRT been doing lately? 4-hour chart. It's just kind of moving to the upside. What's it looking like on the daily? All right. Starting to cool off a little bit. Large impulse, smaller impulse, smaller impulse. This still, I think, this is going to be one of those, I think, great performers going into this next cycle. So let's watch what happens here. This is looking like it may be getting a little weak. We may get an explosive move up here to 23, but ultimately I think we're going to have some period of time that this does test lower at some point. Algorand, I know, was performing. Look at this bad boy. Turn this off. Okay, look at this. All the way up into this zone right here. But look, impulse, a little bit smaller, a little bit smaller. Let's watch for an opportunity maybe coming down a little bit. Option look at this low here, these highs here, or this chop zone, I should say, and this low here. I could see this testing here and maybe coming down here into the 18 cent, 18.6 sort of mode. If this does continue to the upside, wonderful. But I'm looking for opportunities to buy dips right now. So me outlining lower levels doesn't mean I think it's absolutely going to go there. I'm saying, how can I take advantage of any negative price action so my bullish, the bullish part of the market, I could take the most advantage of the market because I am stacked. If we look at this on the 3-day, you see this is looking a little bearish. It's coming up, it's testing this region right here. If this does move higher, again, this 29.30 cents. Once this happens, I think very likely we could get a cup and handle here. So we have this move right here. This also is a shoulder, so maybe a bit of a inverted cup, inverted head and shoulders, right? Or you can also just call this the cup. Maybe a little bit of a handle here. I'm looking for opportunity here. If this does continue moving to the upside, then option F down here. Golden pocket, look at that. Yeah, we're going to be testing 31 at some point. It's this range high, all these lows, and the golden pocket of this move. So let's be patient. AVAX. Let me go actually to this chart right here. AVAX. We talked about this. I talked about this yesterday in the middle of this right here when this was starting to fall. It's like I'm watching for a test of this level. We lose it, likely retest and a continuation to the downside. Let's see where this goes. We're on the 6-hour. Stochastics are getting quite low. Momentum waves, look at this. Very high, very low. Look at this. Low, very much higher. So this was telling us a story that a correction was likely coming into play. We also have the rounding top right here. See this move to the upside? And then these highs are starting to round like that. We also see it most specifically right on this move here. And then what do we get? And we're trying to see if we're getting a distribution for a potential down move. We see the price action form a new low. That's the low there. So we formed a new low. Watch for, at some point, a rise higher and have a lower high, which indicates another move lower. Quant. How's Quant doing? Man, I mapped this one out so well this cycle. Oops. I mapped this one out so well about even testing down into the 84, 85 region. Then in this zone, I was like, hey, this is not moving. At some point, it's going to get an explosive move. Look at this small move up. Where did this retest? All these highs. And then boom, launch pad to the moon, at least a short-term moon. I mean, this move alone that's a 45, 47% move. Now we do have a bit of a bull flag here. Will this continue to the upside? Well, if the rest of the market is starting to pull back, then this may pull back too. But if this is a bull flag, the next target up there is, look at that, up in the upper 100s, 190s, 200. Now, do I think that's going to go there now? Well, look at the momentum wave right here. Flipped over, stochastics down, RSI down. That's on the 8-hour, on the 4-hour. The stochastics are getting quite low. Maybe this is setting up for a move. I think this move is not going to fulfill this target if it does happen. But I do think we will test up into the 151s, 159 if this move does move up. If this moves up, gets rejected, I'm looking for a test down here into the 120s, lower 120s sort of zone. But everybody, I love you. I appreciate you. I've got to run here in a moment. Make sure you check out bitlabacademy.com. Sign up with us. Go through all these courses. Get involved in the Discord. That's part of the this is the biggest part of the membership, I think. Yes, you get to go through all the courses, and you can go through them as many times as you want. We're adding new stuff here very shortly. We break everything down. It's video courses. We take things step by step, but you also get access to the Discord in here and go through all the things that we're talking about here. You know, setups and breakdowns and questions. And we have a classroom section that we're adding in here that we're going to be doing live courses and streams, and not only me, with Joshua, Jake, and TJ, and all the people. So get involved. I love you guys. I appreciate you guys. And make sure, if you haven't yet, you come and follow us, BitLab Academy, youtube.com/@BitLab Academy. Get us over 10,000 by the new year. Shout out to all the members. Let me go to the viewer activity, make sure I didn't miss any super chats. Didn't miss any super chats. It's all good. This is all data all day long. Sometimes we do super chats. Sometimes we do a lot of members. Sometimes everybody's tuned in, and I love you for it. I appreciate you. Hope you all have an absolutely wonderful day. Shout out again to all the members. Before we go, let's get a roll call right now. I want to see some positive emojis. Emoji, baby. Emoji Yoshi. I want to see some positive comments. I want to see some encouragement. I want to see some, I want to see just everybody getting involved because I love you and I appreciate you. 101 likes, big shout out, big love to each and every one of you. I appreciate that. Look at all those. We got the Mr. Muchacho, the Boom Sauce. We got the BitLab Beaker. We got the Bull. We got the Crazy Face. Big love, everybody. Make them gains. Shout out if you want to make some gains in this market. Shout out, what coin do you think in the top 100, what coin do you think is going to perform best this cycle? What coin do you think is going to shock people? Let me know in the comments down below. And I love you guys. Alexander G, thank you always for giving so much help here from all the mods. And big love to each and every one of you. That's all I got. Hope you all have a wonderful, wonderful day. I will see you in the next video. Adios. Adios, muchachos. Thank you for coming. Thank you for always tuning in. BitlabAcademy.com. Hit that like button, sucker.